He's getting old now. You know, I have the size, I have the reach, I have the height.
Conor McGregor is blowing smoke up everybody's ass. He don't really want to fight. If he really want to fight, sign the contract.
You keep dropping my name and you haven't got the money, then I'm going to show up at your front door.
And that's just a taste. Hey, welcome to SI Now. It is Thursday, June 15th, and I'm Maggie Gray. For boxing, this wasn't even that long of a wait. A crossover bout between Mayweather and McGregor began fittingly on a late-night talk show.
If you're asking would I like to fight Floyd, I mean, who would not like to dance around the ring for $180 million?
Yeah.
If we were to fight I certainly know he would not want to step into my world, the world of pure unarmed combat where there is no limitations. But I most certainly would step into his world.
All right, that was July of 2015, and not more than 2 years later, the mega fight has been set for August 26th in Las Vegas. Now, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, first of all, welcome to the show. But start commenting. Are you giving McGregor any chance in this bout? The Irishman is a plus 450 underdog. So would you take that bet? You're going to get my opinion on the bout in just a moment. But if you know our show, you know that we are big fight fans. And over the last year, we've had dozens of boxers and boxing aficionados stop by our studio, and we asked them all about this fight.
Why would the UFC that just got bought for $4 billion, why would they let their biggest star, McGregor, go up in the ring and not be able to kick or chokehold or tap somebody out? It would be very offensive to the sport of boxing if that fight even takes place.
Will it damage boxing? Not necessarily. Not one event could destroy boxing. Will it help? No, not necessarily, because it's looked upon as being a joke, if you will.
We want to see, you know, all the back talk. We want to see the craziness. That's what people are going to be buying into. But when it comes to the fight, you know, aspect in general, I believe people kind of already have a assessment of what they believe is going to happen. But like I said, it's the fight game. Anything can happen.
If that fight goes more than 30 seconds, it's a black eye to boxing. If it gets out of one round, it embarrasses boxing. I think it will get more than one round.
I've seen a video of Conor sparring with like real boxers, and it doesn't look like he would be in the same class with a 40-year-old Mayweather.
I don't know if Floyd has ever fought anybody. I know he has never fought anybody as big and as long and rangy as Conor McGregor. So he brings a lot, and he's a very powerful guy, and he's good with distance and timing, and he's not a bad boxer. So there's a lot that comes to the table, and Floyd has been out for a while. So there's a lot of things to get excited about. If you just put them together in boxing and look at what they've done, there's no question Floyd dominates the fight. But you add those other factors in, it really does make it exciting to get excited about.
Do you want to see Floyd get into the ring with a mixed martial artist?
As a boxer, no. But as a fan of just fighting in general, yes, because I believe Floyd, I would beat him up, then McGregor probably kick him upside the head. So I believe that'd be funny.
I think if Conor does fight Mayweather, I'm sure he's going to make the biggest purse in his life, and I don't see him coming back fighting mixed martial arts. Not that he doesn't like to or he's afraid to. I think there'd be no point for him.
So that's what people in the fight game think. Now, as for me, I know some will say that this is the best thing about sports, answering the age-old question, who beats whom in a fight? But to me, this is all the things that I hate about sports. Sports is a business, yes, but when did it become only that? What's most disappointing is that there's history on the line, and Floyd has chosen to make his 50th career win in exhibition, which is why I don't think it should count towards his official record. After the fight, Floyd shouldn't be 50-0. He should be 49 and a footnote. This isn't a crowning achievement. It's the easy way out. And believe me, this will be easy for Floyd Mayweather. This is like Albert Pujols sitting on 599 home runs and going to AAA to get his 600th. It's like the Warriors making it to the NBA Finals and finding the Tar Heels waiting for them instead of the Cavs. As for Conor, what does it say about you as an athlete when you're guaranteeing yourself a loss just for a payday? Congratulations, you are a sellout. Floyd and Conor will occupy much of the summer by promoting the fight. MMA fans will convince themselves that Conor can pull an upset, And at the end of the day, we're all going to buy the pay-per-view. But when you're disappointed with another lopsided Floyd victory, don't scream and cry for your money back, because money was all this was ever about in the first place. And please, don't at me. All right, on Sports Illustrated's latest NBA big board, Kentucky point guard DeAaron Fox sits second. Now, we recently spent an afternoon with Fox working out, playing video games, eating lunch. Turns out he's not short on confidence. He treats the streets of LA like a lane on the fast break. And he has some rather pointed thoughts about Lonzo and, of course, LaVar Ball. Watch this.
Player in the draft. Just as a competitor, you know, I'm the best player in the draft. But yeah, I mean, basketball in Houston and Texas, man, it's a lot better than what people think. Just because football is still the number one sport, you know.
Did you play football though?
I did play football. I stopped playing when I got old enough to realize it was too hot outside. My dad's friends, like, they continue to say they think I was better at football than basketball, but I don't have a football body, so ultimately it worked out pretty well, so I'm all right.
Fox slams it in! DeAaron Fox is dominating on the floor. And Fox, too easy.
Wow, what a fantastic play. So dangerous. Are you used to seeing point guards go up and block shots like that?
Fox, he's ahead of the field and slams with two hands.
Around sophomore, junior year of high school was like, you know, I could really, you know, make it to the NBA because people were talking about I could be this, I could be that. Seeing, you know, ESPN writers writing reports on me.
What separates DeAaron is his IQ, his feel for the game. He's very analytical. He's a thinker. I can't just throw anything out there. Some kids I can say, go jump off a wall, and they'll go do it. If I tell DeAaron go jump off a wall, he's gonna say, how high is the wall? What are the dimensions?
I think what makes me special is my speed and my ability to make plays, and that's on offense and defense.
Throws it away, Fox with the steal. Fox flying in for two.
I want to be able to give someone 40, but I want to lock them down and hold them to 10 at the same time.
How about that kid? How about this matchup tonight? Fox and Ball. Fox has come to play against Ball.
And that young man, Lonzo Ball, just not enough here tonight against DeAaron Fox and the Wildcats.
What was your mindset going into that?
Shut LaVar Ball up? Not the only reason, but there's a lot of reasons that I tried to have a big game. I think last year he just became somewhat relevant for some reason. Even when I knew Lonzo in high school, I never seen his dad before.
I never heard of it. Yeah, his dad never talked.
He just went crazy this year.
Yeah.
Guess when your son a lottery pick, they give you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I say ball at the end, unbelievable.
It is unbelievable that you guys started your own shoe company.
Yes. I kind of like what LaVar Ball doing as far as we're going to do it our own way, we're going to blaze our own path. But just the comments, that left field comments.
His way is just talking.
Yeah, he put a chip on.
I kind of feel bad for Lonzo.
He put a target on his neck, not his back.
Infrared beam.
He got a target right here.
Yeah. But I think he'll be all right, though.
No, he's going to be good. But his first year in the league is about to be extremely tough. Not a beach person. Malibu is 20 minutes away. Honestly, I've only gone to the beach, like I said, once. If I can bring electricity to the beach and plug it in the PlayStation, then I would. I'm extremely competitive off the court too, so like playing video games or even in high school, like me and my teammates, we used to compete for grades just so we can call each other dumb. Let's fight. Who you want to fight? Oh no, not that one. Yeah.
Oh, she's down! Come on!
I just knocked him out in 33 seconds. Someone else feel like getting knocked out?
I'm eating that. I'm eating that.
You about to die.
I'm eating that, man.
That's not what you want.
Oh, there's no getting up once you get knocked out?
No, I'm cheating. We can go play one-on-one. Where I see myself at the end of next year is the Rookie of the Year. and where I see myself in the next 15 years. Hopefully I'm still playing the game. Hopefully I have a few MVPs, a few championships. Could be a potential Hall of Famer.
DeAaron Fox has been steadily rising up draft boards, and some scouts now rank the Kentucky guard as this year's #2 prospect. Yet there are still some lingering concerns about his inconsistent jump shot.
Tough shot. Fox.
Kentucky was just a bad year for shooting for me. I don't really know why, but I've never been a bad shooter, but I did have a bad year. But I'm gonna work on it. I'm already used to NBA 3. What I tell teams is that I'm always in the gym. I'm always working on my game. Honestly, only time can tell until I'm gonna have to prove it in games. There's nothing more than I can say about that. I'm a competitor. I'm an extreme competitor. I want to win in everything. And that's just something that has driven me to where I am today, and it's gonna keep driving me.
Yep, so we avoided all that traffic.
Very nice.
Damn, I should hit the gas.
No one's there. We good.
That was one of my questions. If it was a yellow light, would you hit the gas or brake? Y'all saw that for yourselves.
Sports Illustrated in the cut.
So DeAaron Fox setting high goals for himself, certainly not lacking for confidence. Ben Teitelbaum produced this piece. He's also our showrunner here on SI Now, the easiest booking that we've ever had on this show. All right, Ben, DeAaron Fox is about to embark on the biggest challenge of his professional life, going from college to the pros, yet he's supremely confident. Where does that come from?
So I asked that to DeAaron and his father, and both of them said that DeAaron was just born with it, that it was innate. And part of it has to do with the fact that he's been so precocious. In 7th grade, he was dominating guys 5, 6 years older than him. He scored 50 points in his 3rd high school game. Wow. It's crazy. So there's never been too much of a challenge for him. And part of it comes back to the fact that he's so athletically gifted, and a lot of people have trouble getting up to speed when it comes to the NBA. He won't have any issue with that. He's so fast. He needs to get stronger, but he knows that that'll come with time. And because he's always been so good, and because he's so self-assured, he's just not worried about the transition.
Yeah, and doesn't seem at all worried about the fact that his shot simply was not falling for really the first half of his first and only season at Kentucky, when John Calipari told him, you can't miss every shot, you got to start making a couple, and he did.
And let me let you in on something. Shot wasn't falling during that workout. And we've seen other footage of him. He has gotten better. Second half of the season was good. Apparently workouts have been promising, but we saw it. There was a stretch in the workout where it wasn't falling, and that clearly is the biggest question.
So where does he think he's going to land? How high does he think he's going to go?
Well, he said in no uncertain terms that he's sure he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Okay.
Again, there's that confidence, and if you look at all the mock drafts, if you look at all the big boards, there's no reason for him to think he'll fall below the Kings at 5. We talked about a few specific teams. He could see himself in LA. He likes LA. He likes what they're building. I think you saw the rivalry with Lonzo. If he went second...
And LaVar.
And LaVar. If DeAaron goes second, that means he bested Lonzo yet again. So he didn't say that specifically, but I think there's that underneath the surface. Another thing that was a little surprising was how open he was to going to Sacramento. Now, part of that is because the Kings have expressed themselves that they love him, that Fox would be a huge win for them in this draft if he's still there. And who knows, they might trade up. But to us, Sacramento seems like such a wasteland, like both in basketball and non-basketball terms. But for someone who doesn't mind being out of the spotlight, loves to play video games, and could
Maybe he thinks he could be the man there.
The guy, that's what I was going to say. So excited about Sacramento. He said there's one team that he would not want to go to. He didn't tell us what that was.
Got any inklings of what, East Coast?
I could say maybe the 76ers, just because the team that they're building, if Ben Simmons is really going to be that point forward, the fit with two people who aren't great shooters might not be as natural. But we asked him about the Sixers, and he said, yeah, it could work with me and Simmons. It just wasn't quite in the glowing terms that he spoke of LA, Sacramento, and the Phoenix Suns.
Okay. This is not the only draft prospect that you've been following around. You spent some time with Markelle Fultz. How would you compare these 2 point guards?
Well, it's interesting because they're both fantastic players. Yeah. Very different players. Obviously, Fox is the slasher, a point guard who has end-to-end speed and probably the best defensive guard in the draft. Markelle Fultz is more of the all-around do-it-all players, but off the court is where they seem so different. Fox is extremely self-assured. He knows who he is as a person. He's super comfortable in the spotlight. Markelle Fultz, we spent time with him before the draft process really got going, and it seemed like he wasn't yet comfortable in the spotlight. At Washington, he was out of national attention. They did not make the tournament, and he was a late bloomer. He wasn't on prospect radars until 11th or 12th grade, so he lived mostly a quiet basketball existence. Fox has been in ESPN since he was in 7th grade. He's used to being a star. He's had camera crews following him around since he was 12 years old. So he gets it, he owns it, he knows who he is, and I think Fultz is still coming into being in that way.
Okay, still growing into the role. Because you spent an entire day with him, it gets whittled down to about 6 minutes. What's the most interesting thing about DeAaron Fox that did not make it into the video?
Well, firstly, he is so funny. You saw a little bit of it.
He's got a good personality.
Hilarious. Like, if we could draft NBA players to be friends, DeAaron Fox might...
First team all friends?
First team all friends list. Play video games with them, hang out with them. Great lunch, dining partner. And
showed you guys a good time.
Showed us a great time. And you go around a lot of prospects, players, especially once they become professional athletes, players are a little bit guarded or cagey. And his guard was down, and it was just so refreshing to see. For a little while, we were talking after lunch about whether you would send your food back if the order was wrong. And I mentioned that my mom, sorry, Mom, send stuff back if it's not hot enough or not quite right.
Okay.
Which I understand.
You want it the way you want it?
And DeAaron said, if I were a waiter and someone sent the food back for not being hot enough, I would probably spit in their food. And he was joking. It wasn't serious. And
I hope he was joking. That is diabolical.
But it's a comment a 19-year-old would make. And how many 19-year-olds have the attention of America? But if you're in your college dorm room, people are saying stupid stuff like that. And I just loved, there were little comments along the way where he was facetious, silly, and totally refreshing in that manner. He talked for a while about how tigers die if they run more than 30 seconds. So if he were being chased by a tiger, he would just need early speed, which I don't even know how he got on that topic.
Okay.
But he's quirky, he's pretty worldly, and he's just a really interesting, fun dude.
Yeah, and now I hope that he really makes it to the NBA so that he's not a waiter for some poor person whose, burger happens to be medium rare. All right, great job, Ben. Really appreciate it. Love that piece. Yesterday, Oklahoma City forward Enes Kanter stopped by our studio for a very wide-ranging interview about what's happening in his native Turkey. Now, we're going to bring you that interview next week, but we did get a few basketball questions in. They are timely, so we wanted to bring them to you. Watch this. I know you said that you don't watch a lot of basketball when you're not watching your own film.
Yeah.
But did you watch Game 5 of the NBA Finals?
I did. I'm not going to lie, I did watch the Game 5. Not the whole thing, but I did watch the Game 5. And
how did it feel to watch your former teammate win a title and win Finals MVP?
Of course, it was not good. I was definitely, I said it everywhere. I was rooting for, Cleveland. But I think I'm going to give him a lot of credit. There was a lot of people hating on him.
Wait, you're going to give him credit? I thought there's a huge rivalry between Oklahoma City and Golden State now.
Give them credit, not him credit, give them credit. Give the Golden State credit.
Well, you're not alone, because a lot of people are still saying Kevin Durant was just chasing a ring, that he tagged along on a team that probably would have been favored to win the Finals anyway.
Think about it. That was his team. When he was in Oklahoma, that was his team. And then he played there for 9 years. And, he did an unbelievable job. Not just on the court, off the court too. So Oklahoma people loved him. So, after he decided to go to Golden State, I understand it was a business. It was just how he did it. He could have just told us first. Told the whole team, it's like, hey, man, I'm leaving to go to Golden State.
So how much does it sting to watch him not only win a ring, but win Finals MVP?
Yeah.
He was dominant in that series.
Yeah, he did a definitely really good job. But, man, it was just... So the year before we lost Golden State, it was 3-1. We were up. And then they came back, it was 4-3. So it was like, our job is not over. So we have to come back again next year and try to do it again. And when he left, it was definitely... I was really sad that he left, definitely, because, he was one of my good friends. He was one of my good friends.
Not anymore.
I mean, right now we play against each other, so I can't say, oh, he's my friend. But I mean, they won. We can do nothing about it.
You mentioned that Kevin Durant was really entrenched in the community of Oklahoma City. There are some who believe that the team, the franchise, the fan base still haven't really moved on from him leaving Oklahoma City. Is that true?
The first game he was back, I never seen the Chesapeake Arena like that before, ever. I played Western Conference Finals there, but it was when he came back first time. It was one of the craziest game ever. I couldn't play because I broke my arm, but it was definitely one of the most craziest game I ever seen. The fans were loud. They were booing him. They were showing some cupcakes and everything. It was definitely crazy, but he's a good player.
How many people do you think around the league share your same view? Obviously, Oklahoma City and Golden State have a rivalry, but how many share your view and are maybe saying, congratulations, Warriors, not so much congratulations, Kevin Durant, because he tipped the balance of power in the league to such a degree?
Like you said, I think people respect Golden State a lot. I mean, they play really good basketball, but when it turns to Kevin Durant, I don't know, because like you said, I mean, when he was just, I feel like chasing the ring, and I was reading comments, he was getting a lot of hate because, oh, he's a really, really good player, but he doesn't have a ring. So I feel like he took the easy way to, just to get a ring.
If you could team up with Kevin again or with LeBron James, who would you choose?
Definitely.
Why?
Because, I mean, he's making everybody else better around him. He's like Russell Westbrook. There's few guys in the league that he's making himself better and he's making everybody else better around him. Not just the players, the organization, the whole state. I understand Kevin definitely a really, really good player, but I'll definitely pick LeBron James.
You mentioned Westbrook. The feeling outside of Oklahoma City is not that he makes the rest of the team better, but he's just such a electric scorer, and the passion that he plays with is you just can't take your eyes off of him. If he loses the MVP to James Harden, how will he respond to that?
Well, I feel like he's not that type of a guy like, oh man, the world is over. What he's doing, all this, chasing, all this breaking records, getting triple doubles and everything, but he's staying always hungry. He always have that motto that's like, okay, I'm always hungry. And like people don't know how good of a guy he is outside of the basketball because he always like angry. He wants to bury you on that court. But outside, he always a talker. He was a joker. He makes all these jokes in a plane. He plays 3-on-3 video game with Andre Robertson in a plane. So he was like a really nice guy. It's definitely like when a rookie come to our team, I'm really happy for him because there's a good leader like Russell.
That's really interesting. It's the side that the media doesn't get to see.
Yeah, definitely. It's so much fun to just be around him.
I know that you can't tell the future, and I know that you're not responsible for giving out contracts, but do you think he's signing a max and a super long-term deal in Oklahoma City?
Well, one thing I saw about him, he's a loyal guy. I understand he's from LA. He loves LA. He goes to LA every summer, but he's a loyal player. I mean, I think he's gonna finish his career in Oklahoma City.
Enes, thank you so much. Thank you for giving us so much of your time. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
The Warriors are the prototypical super team. You've got Curry, the three-point sniper. Clay, the 3-and-D man. KD, the two-way monster. Draymond Green, the loudmouth leader. And Jaja Pachulia, the enforcer. A team like this only comes along once in a generation, but we've created Warrior-esque super squads from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s that we think could rival the Dubs. Rewind 10 years into the aughts and start off with the long-range shooter, Ray Allen. Bruce Bowen gives you the D and threes. Tim Duncan is the two-way monster. Rasheed Wallace plays the loudmouth. And Ron Artest acts as the enforcer. Back in the Clinton era, this super team would have given even the Bulls a run for their money. With Reggie Miller as the marksman, Dale Ellis providing 3 in defense, Karl Malone being the two-way monster, Charles Barkley, already a loudmouth, and Anthony Mason keeping opponents in line. During the final days of the Cold War, Larry Bird would have been the beyond the arc specialist. Michael Cooper practically invented the role of 3 in defense. Dr. J would dominate both ends of the court. Bill Laimbeer would have popped off at the mouth, and Rick Mahorn would have provided the muscle. Notice that Michael Jordan didn't make the list? Well, the Warriors don't have the best player in the league either.
All right, we're going to get another perspective on the Warriors from Hall of Fame writer Jack McCallum, because he's penning a new book about Golden State and the LA Lakers. And one of their biggest connections, of course, is Jerry West, who was the architect of the most successful basketball eras for both franchises. Jack McCallum spoke with West about his latest venture, that is joining the Los Angeles Clippers as a special consultant. Jack, good enough to join us now. Jack, Jerry West has turned the fortunes of the Lakers, the Grizzlies, most recently the Warriors around. What is his best attribute as a talent evaluator? Why does he find success everywhere he goes?
It seems to be his ability to make. Obviously, he's got to understand the mechanics of the game. He sees this kind of. Somebody described it to me as, because he was such a great player, he sort of sees what makes a whole team. The way he described it to me was, he does a lot of puzzles, and he sees how the corner pieces fit. And when he makes a decision, he seems to have this incredible gift of decisiveness. Now, you still have to be right, but he's able to sell things to a room, and once a player gets there, he's able to sell things to a player. He talks to him like a player. So I think all of those kind of attributes have to do with the fact that he's made so many correct decisions over the year personnel-wise.
Jack, I know these aren't the Clippers of 10 years ago, but they still have the reputation as underachievers. Will the Clippers be Jerry West's toughest challenge yet?
He says so. I didn't put in the piece I did for SI.com, but he says they're going to be as tough as anybody. Strangely, he's gone to a team which was not the case with Memphis when he has 2 superstars, Blake Griffin and Chris Paul. I think Jerry's biggest decision. Now, we have to remember he's not the general manager. He's not the guy going in and running the meeting. He's the guy in the same role of the Warriors, that he's going to be a consultant. But Jerry will have a strong opinion on whether or not Blake Griffin and Chris Paul fit together. And I would say immediately, since they don't have a draft pick, they may make some trades, I don't know, that's going to be the biggest thing that the brass there, Doc Rivers and owner Steve Ballmer, are going to be wanting to hear. What is the long-term future of Chris Paul and Blake Griffin? And Jerry will have an opinion, knowing Jerry.
Yeah, and knowing Jerry as you do, what do you think that opinion would be leaning towards? I mean, these are clearly the Clippers' most valuable assets. And by that, I mean Griffin and Paul.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that I've only talked to him a little bit. I know I haven't really talked to him about Griffin. I know he's a huge, he's a Chris Paul fan, that you can't find people like that to quarterback your team. Surprised, if he's not strongly behind the re-signing of Chris Paul, but that's kind of a no-brainer. As far as Griffin goes, I'm really not sure of what he feels in that direction.
We will have to wait and see. Jack, while we have you, moving away from Jerry West for just a moment, Kevin Durant made headlines when he said on Bill Simmons' podcast that he thinks Kyrie Irving has more tools and weapons than Allen Iverson. Now, comparing eras can be a real quagmire, but how do you see the Kyrie versus Iverson comparison?
Kyrie is bigger by about 2 inches, probably 3 inches. Kyrie shoots threes better than Allen did. He was not a great three-point shooter. I think Kyrie's probably in the upper 30s, close to 40. Allen was down by 30. Kyrie has the advantage of getting some open looks from a teammate like LeBron James that Allen didn't have. And we saw Kyrie's finishing at the basket I've never seen anything like it. I tweeted during the finals that I can't imagine he wouldn't win, a one-on-one contest where it resurrected. Let's give him a couple more years, and let's understand that Kevin's coming fresh off a finals when Irving burned them so much. But it is not a ridiculous standpoint. Let's give it a couple more years. Allen dragged a team to the finals almost by himself in 2001. So it's not a ridiculous assumption. Let's give him 1 or 2 more years.
Okay, we're going to simmer on this one just a little bit, but love getting the thoughts of the Hall of Famer Jack McCallum. Jack, thank you so much. Can't wait to check out this book about the Warriors and the Lakers, Jerry West, all of it. It's going to be exciting. We're big fans of yours. Thank you, Jack.
Okay, thanks for having me, Maggie.
Absolutely. Anytime. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of SI Now. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow, Friday, to finish out the week with you at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. But until then, keep it locked to SI.com. Read pieces like Jack McCallum's on Jerry West. It's really good. And follow us on Twitter at SI Now Live. See you tomorrow.